Microtransactions. The one thing that I think in every single game finds a way to shit on basically anything that has previously been established about that video game. Now, microtransactions are nothing new. It's always been a pain in the ass. It's always been, especially in a lot of games, I think pointing more towards the sports games like FIFA and Madden, a pay-to-win mechanic in most examples, and I think we saw it in the early days of Call of Duty, such as Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare, where weapons were in supply drops. These supply drops gave you superior weaponry, and therefore there was a pay-to-win element in a fully priced AAA title. Now, today I want to talk about Modern Warfare. Modern Warfare has had no confirmation as to how microtransactions are going to work in the game, and it seems that there has been numerous leaks, some leaks claiming that there is going to be a supply drop system, other leaks claiming that in fact that is not the case and it's going to be purely cosmetic. But today I want to give you my take on it and let you know how I'm thinking. It's me, the Tactical Brit, and let's dive on in. So for those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you will know I'm aggressively against any kind of microtransaction system to a degree. Now, I certainly do believe that AAA titles should, by all forms and any means necessary, avoid forcing content on people for a paid price. We've seen this with DLC packs in the past. Those things have steadily disappeared due to the damaging effects they have on consumers and players of the game. But now we're finally drifting more towards a new microtransaction age where we're seeing things like season passes, which aren't stonewalling off a majority of content, and we're also seeing things like microtransaction stores for cosmetic bases. And this is something that I feel the giants of the industry have actually struggled with, so much more than some of the younger, sort of smaller companies. Now, I say this because if you look at a company like Ubisoft, they're very much not exactly, the newest company in the world, but they're not exactly old school either. And in terms of multiplayer and multiplayer shooters, they've always been on the sort of progressive side of things, I'd say, to some degree. And I think they're very in tune with what the average gamer wants to a degree as well in terms of multiplayer. And I think you're seeing that especially in things like Rainbow Six Siege and the system that they had in the game, which was very intuitive, didn't stonewall off content, and did a really good job at making sure that players who wanted to invest more could, but players who didn't necessarily didn't feel as though they were being disadvantaged in any kind of way. And then we move on to a company like Activision, who in the past has had a terrible track record of microtransactions. Games like Advanced Warfare are just one of many where things have just been far too aggressive, be it DLC packs, be it being able to pay for so many different X, Y, and Z things. Their track record's really bad, and in fact I'd say it's more or less on par with EA in terms of how bad microtransactions can get in a video game, at least if you're looking at EA's previous premium systems, but also more importantly FIFA and Madden and some of those places. But the simple fact of the matter with microtransactions is that you can't force it upon a consumer. If you give me microtransactions in a game, you have to incentivize a reason to buy them. Now, if the incentive for me is that I need to be equal or on the same as everybody else, or I need to buy a thing to be as good as everybody else, then I'm just not going to play your game. Like, there's just no point of me doing that. It's a stupid system, and if I ever feel as though there is something significant where I have to purchase lots of stuff just to be on even footing with other people, you'll never catch me within inches or miles of that kind of thing. It's just not happening. No, that's a terrible kind of system, and I think a lot of people stray away from that these days, especially the kinds of games that market themselves as free to play, and then inevitably it's free to play, but I need to buy X, Y, Z, B, A, B, Z. Like even stuff like War Thunder, Warframe, those kind of games. Less so Warframe. I'm certain they're actually in a good place right now, but the original days when I joined things like War Thunder and Worlds of Tanks, I really felt as though I was like 20 steps behind everybody, and at no point did I feel as though I wanted to spend any money to neutralize that. So in a game like AAA, you kind of have the same ballpark. You can't just force things on people. Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare and all of these games that have had weapon supply drop packs, like, that's just bullshit. It just made me not want to play the game. And this is where Modern Warfare comes into the fold. Now, there is no official announcement on how Modern Warfare is going to handle things. I personally don't believe that they will announce anything anytime soon until the game releases. But this is actually an extremely good opportunity for Activision to be smart. The more you have consumers on your side, the more they will vouch for your game, the more they vouch for your game, the more people buy it, the more people buy it, the more people invest into it. That's exactly how Rainbow Six Siege is where it is today. Now, Rainbow Six had a terrible launch. It wasn't in the best of ways when it released, but eventually it became such a word-of-mouth game with people supporting it that there was just no way it wasn't going to grow to an exponential level. And I'm sure the revenue for that game is a disgusting number in terms of season passes, microtransaction purchases, and everything in between. But at no point does it feel forced. Like, I played most of Rainbow Six Siege without buying a season pass, and you know what? I was okay with it. And when I felt as though I'd invested enough time that I wanted to pay more, then I was like, yeah, sure, I'll buy some more stuff. Why? Because I'm playing so significantly and having such an enjoyable experience here that I will do this. Now, this is Modern Warfare's opportunity. Modern Warfare is a fantastic game. I think it's got great gunplay, great map design. I think it has a lot going for it as a game that's actually made a lot of the gaming community instantly happy. I think the days of the beta before this microtransaction controversy came up, you could look anywhere over Reddit, anywhere over Twitter, anywhere over Facebook, and sure, maybe not all of them were, wow, this is an incredible game, but a lot of them were very positive. A lot of them were, yeah, I'm interested, or yeah, I like this, and that's the kind of swing crowd that you really want to aim towards, especially those people who perhaps don't realize that later in this year, when Modern Warfare releases, there actually isn't a lot of games out this year. This is probably going to be a very slow year due to the fact that the new consoles are on their way, and a lot of games are now switching towards sort of January and February windows, so this Christmas is going to be really dry. The best way to lose that demographic and that audience of people who could be playing your game is pushing forward aggressive MTX, pushing forward, here are weapons and supply drops, here are these things you need to buy in order to be XYZ good. That's exactly how you kill off a good game. And I'm entirely certain that the decisions being made on this are probably above any of the developers' pay grades, purely because I think you find in a lot of situations, regardless of who it is, what company, the publisher makes most of the decisions in terms of revenue. Why? Because they're the people who dictate it, especially if they own a place. Like, I'm pretty sure Activision owns Infinity Ward and owns most of the publishers and game developers that they work with, so therefore they dictate everything that goes on. Now, if they're intelligent, they're going to take the Rainbow Six route, because I enjoyed my Modern Warfare experience so much that if I saw a really cool operator or like a really nice gun skin that was military styled, I actually wouldn't mind. And if rumors are to be believed that this is going to have a battle royale somewhere further down in the future, and just to be honest with you, in terms of like ranked gameplay, if they do competitive playlists and stuff like that, you know, if you get me to pump hours into your game, I will reciprocate the enjoyment I've had, because I will be willing to purchase something, even if it is a AAA game. And I'm sure lots of you have examples of games where you went, you know what, I've played this for long enough that I can justify spending this money. I've had so and so many hours. Like, you know, for example, for me, if Squad, the current game that's a military shooter or milsim on Steam right now, even though they haven't quite finished, they're very close to launch though, they're a couple of months out. If they said to me, yeah, we're going to release a DLC on day one, I wouldn't bat an eyelid. I wouldn't bat an eyelid at all. Why? Because they're so consumer friendly. They do sales all the time, they support modding, they do everything they possibly can to please most of their audience. And if they said to me, hey, for £20 extra you get XYZ, I said, abso-fucking-lutely, I will buy that for you. And that's just the kind of attitude you need to foster by being consumer friendly. And more importantly, because it's such a slow year, if somebody hears, actually, no, Call of Duty Activision hasn't suddenly activated, you know, 3 layers of MTX a month down the line, everything's gonna be like, yeah, that's great, oh, cool. I mean, if they haven't screwed the game, then sure. And the attitude is already there. Lots of people are already saying, oh, they'll just release it and then a month later they'll put like 6 different guns that you can buy in and then it won't be worth playing. And because that preconception is already there, if you undercut the preconception and surprise people and go above their expectations, again, you're building more and more inclination for a person to buy your stuff. Now, again, this isn't me saying I want Activision to have thousands of billions and gajillions of pounds. This is me saying that I think Modern Warfare is a really good game, and I think really good games deserve to sell well, especially when they're not only appealing to their audiences, but making great changes. Modern Warfare has been a fantastic example of developers listening both on Reddit and Twitter to things that people wanted to see and being reactive to it, explaining why they haven't done certain things and explaining why they're adding other things or trying different things. And I've really enjoyed that level of communication and that level of understanding. I'm more than happy to invest in, because I feel as though they've got a good level of people there and there's a good business model there and things are going well. So hopefully we see something in that ballpark. Anyways, folks, it's been me, the Tactical Brit. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again soon in another one.